give me the cliff notes of the transition into film. How did that come about? Like, because because I think that when you are so like embedded into a craft like this, creativity doesn't just it's not acquired. Is to me is innate. Is you were born with it.
Mhm.
Creativity to me is not acquired. It's not something that you just pick up from YouTube or anything. Like it's something that's embedded in you. So when did you discover that you had this gift of creativity?
For me, I was little. For me, I
Really?
would sit, write stories. I would write poetry. I would, create universes, so to speak, like in my head. Just growing up, like I wasn't a TV watcher. I wasn't that. So I would just imagine. And so how we got into film was, I was writing and everything. And so I have to shout out this lady, Entice. This is my girl. She was a fellow author at one point, and she became
Oh,
my book
sounds
agent.
familiar. Entice. That name sounds familiar to me. But
Yeah.
I'm sorry, India.
No, you're fine. It's in apostrophe Tyse. So
Yes.
she
Okay.
became my book agent, but while she was an author, she put out a anthology, and my story Dishonorable was in her anthology. And so then she became
Mm,
my book agent, but at that same time she was transitioning kind of away from books and into film. She went to school for film, and she was like, man, this is written so cinematically. Like, I want to make this a movie. And, people say stuff all the time. You just like, okay, cool. But,
right. That's true.
but she did her
Mhm.
thing. So she went to school. She put out her first couple of movies, and she came back for Dishonorable exactly how she said she would. And when they got ready to gear up for that, so in pre-production, they invited me on the calls to join. So I learned how they structured everything. I learned how they look for locations or obtain locations, how we do casting. And Mike and I were a part of like selecting, some of the people. Ultimately, it was their film. So like they made all the
Right.
decisions. But
Mhm.
then she invited not just me, but she invited our family. So myself and our daughter and Mike, we went to Dallas, Texas, where they filmed. And so we were there, and then they got hit with like an ice storm. So
Mm,
immediately, half the people that were there working couldn't get to set one of the days. And it truly became like all hands on deck at that point. And that is where we were immersed into like set. Like Mike decorated a set, I decorated a set. His was the trap house. I did a birthday party. But so we did that, and Mike was in the I mean, we were all in the movie, our daughter too, but like I don't know, we were just like so enamored with the process, and we just the whole time like going back to the Airbnb at the end of every night, like we could do this, we could do this. And we got home and we just got to work, and so the script that we wrote, we tried to go for like our budget, which it was like, man, even though it was little, it was a lot to us, right? So we were like, oh, who can we put in there? We put all our family in like our first
nice.
movie that we
That's
did,
that's right. That's right. Go ahead. Go come through with the plug, Mike. Yes. Yeah.
but
And no strings. Your
yes,
family,
yes.
we still family. Check those
Yeah.
out. Check those out.
Yes. So it was like, but it was that. That's how we got our intro. So I will forever hold space in my heart for Entice and Untamed and Nico and just all of the women that poured into us, and just let us know, like, this is how it's done. This is how you can do it. And I feel like they did an exceptional job,
I really
especially
did.
because I know they were in the middle of a state emergency where, like, you were not
Mm,
even supposed to be on the
wow.
road. And so we
Mm,
got that crash course into like using what you have, you know what I mean, to get
that's
what you
amazing.
want. So from there, we just did our thing, and we teamed up with our brother, T Rich out of Detroit. So like that's the gang. That is the crew. We figure everything else out and everybody out. After Mike and I and our daughter, we get with T Rich and we put all the pieces together. So,
Yeah.
Oh, is anything you want to add, Mike? Thank you for that, India.
mhm.
Um, no, I mean she pretty much nailed it on that one. Like, yeah, like we went back to the house, and it was just it was definitely an experience though. It was just like because it was for me like I watch movies, like I'm a movie head, So that's why it's almost like it's lightweight perfect because she, like I said, she's the creator. I know film. You know what I'm saying? Let's do it. But it was just that damn, I lost track of time.
No, you was talking about how you enjoy movies and that, like, you really would, enjoyed the idea of filming. I think you
Oh
was
yeah.
getting into that.
But no, yeah, like yeah, I mean like far as on that, like I said, like they really did a good job far as the setup and like far as even the BTS behind the scenes that I remember actually watching that on what is that called? Inside Edition and Access
Mm,
Hollywood and you know what I'm saying, like the new films that'll be coming up and they'll do like go behind the scenes and they show the actual camera and everything else and you actually see that like damn that's dope. But when you actually on set and you actually see it and actually know how it works and all the you know what I'm saying behind it, it's like it's real dope and it's real like it's addictive, I should say. It's almost
oh,
like it's a
is it?
rut. You know what I'm saying? Like so yeah, like it like it's tired it's tiresome, but on the same note, like far as the product that's put out,
It's all worth it.
it's all worth it.
So
It's
let
all
me
worth
ask you,
it.
let me ask you guys then, just based on where you are right now, because it sounds to me like you love this so much you're willing to do it for free, and you practically are right now.
Oh,
But it's gonna.
oh,
But I'm
yeah.
saying, but it's gonna change. I'm telling you, the trajectory is gonna be like up the roof. It's gonna be up from here. So, but can you give the audience some advice on how to? Because I mean, there's so much access right now. Like you mentioned about social media, Mike. And all you got to do is, all you need is this right now. This is the lights, camera, action. All you need is this nowadays. But I just want to know from you, give your perspective on how to really like if you're really serious about this, what is your steps towards filmmaking? What are some of the steps, the key steps towards this thing, towards getting into this?
Um, I think first of all, it's just like having an idea. You know,
Hmm.
like what are your movie?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? What do you want your movie to be about? You know, like and then it's a budget. You know,
Yes.
like what type of budget do you have? Like, okay, like a lot of people I want to crash and plane coming down. I wanted to slide down the side street and everything else naturally, and I
Mhm.
only got like $5,000. So
Right.
it's just like we all know realistically, like that's not going to happen though. But um, it's all about that. Like far as like, what do you want a story about? A budget, if it's doable within your budget, you know, and we can just take it from there. Like far as on locations, like how many scenes are we going to shoot, and you know, just get really in like in the actually cut the dissect the project on really like what all you know what I'm saying needs to be put into
India.
it.
I would say that too. Starts with the idea. I think a lot of people sometimes put the cart before the horse, right? Like
True.
for years people would come up to me like, I want to write a book. How do I get my book on Amazon? First off, what is your book about? Oh, I ain't thought about that. So we need to start at step one. So I feel like Mike said, have the idea, make it plain, write it down. You need to know like what you need. What does this look like? What is the setting? Go old school with it, pen and paper if you have
Right.
to.
Hmm.
And then from there, after you know what you need, meaning like how many actors you need, locations you need, what props are you listing, mentioning, then I think it's a plan. How are you going to get there? So, you're going to have to find your people in the film industry, right? You're going to need a DP, which is your cameraman. You're going to need sound. You're going to need, for some people, lights. You're going to need, it's a whole bunch. But I mean, you could kind of do it with a little micro crew. But then you have to have a plan, of course, of when are you shooting. I think that makes it real. Setting a date, right? Like
True.
I am going to shoot this September. Like knowing that, then that tells you how long you have from now until then to get what you need. But I think it's a plan. And I think that be realistic too. I mean, I think gone are the days where you can get a whole movie done for free. I mean, it's if you can, it probably is gonna look like it was for free.
Yes.
And then you have
Yes.
to think about is that worth the sacrifice? So even if it takes like a little bit longer, maybe you need to crowdfund, maybe you need to talk to family members, friends. For people like us who have 9 to 5s, maybe you need to tap into your 401k, maybe you need to start a savings like, okay, in 2 years, I want to make a film. So I'm going to have this much pulled from my check to go into this movie fund
Right.
account. You have to think of ways to get there. And because realistically, it takes money to make money. And
Yes.
I feel like, you have to come up off a couple dollars to have a quality project. And then from there, you get with the aggregators, which are the distributors, to see who are taking film. And you don't have to go with the first person you hear about. People don't understand too. They can shop around. You can kind of get what this one is offering, what that one is offering, what the rate is, because sometimes they do different things. And you have to see what values align with your own. And then just go from there. But it all starts with having a plan and, well, having an idea and then executing the plan.
Yeah, well, there you have it, you guys. I mean, I couldn't say any better. I mean, that crash course right there. You better make sure that you take heed to this master class that Mike and India just gave you guys because they dropped some serious knowledge on that. So thank you so much for sharing that, you guys. I really do appreciate that.